Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Theo, and I love to talk about horror movies. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bone Lake. All right, so at its core, I think Bone Lake wanted to be a good movie, but it's not in any shape or the form of what you would call a good movie. This movie is extremely predictable, very unacted well, and portrayed in ways that, it just doesn't really seem to matter that they even made this movie. This movie is about four characters and four characters only, really. It's about Sage and Diego, Will and Sin, and they all end up at this vacation resort location, this little cabin in the woods, mansion in the woods, whatever you want to call it. And one booked out the cabin and the other one shows up, so it's one of those scenarios for this movie. And in retrospect of things, we've seen it done 100 times. It was nothing different. It was the same old that you would assume. Two couples show up or two people show up at the same vacation resort and something begins to pop off. The whole movie is basically about these two couples that are at this cabin, and one couple is trying to get the other couple to cheat on each other while trying to find themselves in their relationship. And the one couple, Sin and Will, we find out a lot about them toward the last 10 minutes of the movie that, you could probably predict all but maybe one thing of it. And the one thing you won't predict is pretty fucking weird. As the movie progresses little by little, we find more and more out about our four main characters. And Sage and Diego, they are this couple that have, basically had their struggles over the years that try and rely on each other. And Diego's planning on proposing over this vacation weekend until Will and Sin show up and kind of ruin that for him. The turning point for this movie is whenever you start to see the true colors of Will and Sin, and you start to realize what they're actually trying to do to the other couple. And then from there, you can guess and pretty much assume that these two are serial killers in retrospect of things. They are bad people that are targeting these couples that show up, and they've been doing it for years on end, trying to test their relationship in a game of cat and mouse. Will and Sin tell them that there's nobody that has ever beaten our challenge or our game or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But they have had nobody that's been successful and not cheating on their spouse in this relationship game that they play with everybody. And if they fail, they kill them. That's the movie. That's the whole plot. Sage and Diego, for what I can assume, didn't cheat on each other throughout this whole entire film. But Sin and Will try to make them believe that one of them has cheated on the other one, and they push that limit really hard. And in each scene, they get a little more close to that happening, or a little more involved with the other spouse, and they start to target the opposite sex of the spouse and try and get them alone. And it kind of, it's okay, it's all right. But it's nothing to where I'd be like, I definitely want to watch this again because this kept my entertainment value the whole entire movie. It didn't. I was bored. I turned it on whenever I was sleeping, and I woke up early in the morning, and I turned it on because I was like, might as well just lay here and watch a movie. I laid there and watched it, and I was kind of bored the whole time I was watching through it. I guess a couple of positives I can say about the movie is you are kind of guessing for maybe the first little bit, what's going on until it triggers, and then you start realizing what's going on. There's a mystery value to it for a little while, but if you've watched a ton of horror movies or mystery movies in the past, you're going to pick up on it pretty damn quick. The other positive I can talk about is there's a couple okay kill scenes. I don't know, there's one that I thought was pretty okay, and it involved a boat and a motor, but it's nothing that hasn't been done before. This is me chewing at the bit trying to give this movie a little bit of props for what it was. One of the other positives I guess I can say here is that the semi-twist that is really weird and just not, it's creepy. I don't know, the semi-plot twist at the end of the movie is we find out, there's a spoiler, so if you don't want to know, shut it off now, but the twist value in this is that The couple of Will and Sin are actually a sibling incest duo that serial kill all these people that come into their house, and they actually own the vacation home, which you kind of can guess after so long that that's their home, because you start seeing pictures of them around the house and pictures of this weird sex room and this weird like dungeon area and stuff. And that's the weird twisty part, is that you find out that these two are incest siblings that murder people because their parents left them. Some big negatives here. I'm just gonna fair warn you, some big negatives. I don't enjoy the acting in this whatsoever. There were a lot of times where I really thought the character that played, or Diego's character, basically just shouldn't have been speaking. Like, I think he says Sage's name like 100 times throughout the movie. And it just, they struggle so much to find out this effort that put into it that makes you want to be enjoying it, that makes you entertained, that keeps you on your toes, that I guess makes you want to watch this for 2 hours. And quite frankly, I mean, the lady that plays Sage is probably the best of the four. All the other ones are like these no-name actors and actresses that just, I don't know, it just wasn't my thing. The second negative I have here is that the plot value just isn't there either. If you're into scary movies like I am, you're going to pick up on what this is about pretty quick. If you understand anything that has to do with mystery or thrillers, you're going to really call out everything that's going to happen and every twist and turn, all but maybe the creepy thing that I mentioned. But that's another negative. I don't like sitting through an hour and a half, 2 hour movie and being able to predict every single thing that happens with it. And lastly, the cinema value isn't great in this either. It seems like it was shot all entirely on phones, or it seems like it was shot on these real low frame cameras. It just seems super generic and seems super, I don't know, just not professional. It didn't seem like it was professionally shot. There was a couple of scenes where I enjoyed it, but they were like very graphic, and they were shot okay. They were like dark and mysterious and kind of gave off this aura, this light, these sounds. But the rest of it is very B-budget, very, very anticlimactic, very anti-cinema. It's just like stale frames of them talking, or stale frames of this scroll across the screen. Something that even I can do and probably have done on this channel before. And no, that's not me saying my content's boring either, or anti-cinematic. That's me saying that it can all be done with a phone. And if you have a little bit of creativity, you could have made this movie. That's kind of what I'm saying. So yeah, I guess overall I'm going to give it probably a 1 out of 5. I didn't care for it. I wouldn't recommend it, not unless you're into like weird, erotic, incest, thriller, serial killer movies. If you are, you might give it a higher rating than I'm giving it here. But for me, I personally didn't enjoy it. I found it boring, very stale, very anticlimactic, very anti-cinema, acting very not portrayed well. It just, I don't know, it's just not for me. So I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. But that'll do it for this one for me, guys. I appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Check under your beds and stay safe out there. 2026 starting off with Bone Lake. I know it's not a 2026 movie, but something I wanted to review last year that I didn't get the opportunity to, so we're starting off with that. Probably going to do The Bone Temple and probably The Mortuary Assistant. Those are probably going to be the next couple movies I review, unless something pops up here or there. Super excited for both those movies, and hopefully you guys are too, because they seem really well done and seem like they're going to be pretty good movies. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.